And there we are recording. And then I'll share my screen as well. Okay, so welcome everyone. So this webinar will be about, as you know, the new upcoming notification logic for leave applications and shift bookings. And before we get started on the logic, let's introduce ourselves. So we can start with me. My name is Malin Lindbom, and I'm Senior Product Manager here at Quinix, and I'm responsible for what we call schedule and time.
And my name is Johannes Nordman, and I am responsible for our Android and iOS apps.
And my name is Carl Geiger. I'm Chief Product Officer at Quinix. I usually attend these sessions to help out with answering questions towards the end.
Yes, maybe we should say that also before we get started. So you can ask questions, and it's in the Q&A section. And what we will do is that we will run through the logic, and then we will spend the last couple of minutes to go through the questions that you have added. So let's get going. So the agenda for the webinar. So first, we will talk about the content of the webinar a bit more in detail. Then we will go through why we have built this new logic, the difference between the old and the new. Then I will run through the notification logic for the leave applications. Both we will look into the actual definition, but also quite some examples, so we all understand exactly what is going on. Then Johannes will take us through the shift booking logic, which is slightly different to the leave application logic. And then, as I said, at the end of the webinar, we will answer questions. So in the webinar then, we will go through two things. Which managers that will receive a notification when an employee sends in a leave application, and which managers that can receive notification when an employee sends in a shift booking request. So why have we built this new logic? The reason is that, so the old Quinix, what is known as Classic, the notification logic was built on the access rights and role management that was supported in Classic, and it's not compatible what we have built now in current Quinix, that we sometimes still refer to as Neo. And also feedback that we have received throughout the years is that the logic that existed in Classic is quite complex. And we wanted to take the opportunity to simplify it and also make it more flexible and better. So before I go into the details of the logic, there are two main differences, like high level, between the old and the new. And the first thing is that in Classic, you could define a manager per group. So you could define a specific manager on a unit, for instance, or a section or a district. And the new logic will not take into consideration the manager that has been defined in these groups. So we will no longer look at those managers. The second part is there is a feature in Classic that was called manager groups. And this is something that we won't look at either in the new logic. then the actual notification logic. So when this logic is turned off, so I should say that the current release date is 7th of April. So when we switch this on, to receive a notification, a manager must fulfill 2 criteria. The first thing is that he or she must have write access on the absence permission. So write access means that he or she can apply or accept or deny the leave application. And also have one direct manager role at least one level above the employee's highest role in the employee's home unit tree. So this is a quite complex sentence, and we will break it down into pieces to understand it a bit better. So the first thing we are going to look into is what we call the home unit tree. So if you look in the organization chart here, so here you see a customer with a district, and the district has a couple of units, and one of the unit, the home unit of the employee, also have 3 sections. So all of these pink boxes are defined as the employee's home unit tree, which is all groups that are directly linked to the employee's home unit. So in this case, it includes the district, the customer level, and then the sections below the home unit. So here you see 2 grayish units, and they are then not part of the employee's home unit tree. And it's the home unit tree that we look at when we look at which managers should receive the leave, the notification for the leave application. And then some more definitions here that are good to know. The first one is the manager role in Quinix. So system-wise, we consider all roles in Quinix to be manager except one role, and that's the employee role. So all other roles are manager roles. Then we have something called a direct role. So a direct role is when someone has a membership or a direct membership on a particular group, so a section or a unit or a district or a customer. And in this logic, we only consider direct roles. And then, so we have direct roles, and then we have inherited roles. So the inherited role then are all roles in Quinix. They are inherited downwards to all groups that are below where the employee has a direct membership. So let's say that an employee has a direct membership on a district. Then it means that all units below that district and all sections below those units, the employee will have inherited roles. And then the last one is shared employees. And it simply means that a shared employee have employee roles in more than one unit or section. Additional information to know before we dive into the specifics here, or the examples. If the employee has a manager specified under reports 2, which then can be done under the tab people and advanced details, that manager will receive all notifications for leave applications and is excluded from the logic that I'm now walking you through. So a way of exclude an employee from the logic is to set a specific manager under reports to. And also someone with the highest role on the highest group, which is usually an account owner or a system administrator, they must have a manager defined in reports to. And the reason is simply that the logic is to always look above the employee. And naturally, there is no one above the highest group and the highest role. So that's why you need to specify reports to in that case. And also there are if there are several managers with the same role on the same group, all of them will receive the same notification. So if you have 3 section managers on the same group, they will receive the same notification. Okay. Let's see here then. So what we will do now is that I will walk you through some examples. And I think that if it's not clear yet exactly what the logic is, I think it will be clear with the examples. So this is something that you may recognize. So this is Help Docs, Quinix manual. Sorry. And what you can do, if you go to web app, schedule and time, schedule and leave applications, you will find 4 articles here. So the first one, leave application notification logic, is basically just what I have gone through right now. And then you have 3 articles which have examples in them, and that's the one we will go through now. So basic scenarios, shared employee scenarios, and advanced scenarios. So we will start with the basic ones. So here you see an organizational tree. The green one is the employee, and the grayish one is a manager. So the employee here has a direct role on the unit. And if he or she sends in a leave application, the notification will go to the manager with right access on absences, level 4. So this is the manager that will receive the notification. Second scenario here. So in this case, same as scenario 1. So you have the employee on a home unit. The same employee is also a manager on the same home unit. So they are both green, so they are the same person. And there is also, and this manager is level 4 manager on the unit. There is also a manager on the district, and it's a level 3 manager. So the logic is that we look upwards, which means that the notification will go to the level 3 manager on the district. Then we have an example. Again, we have the employee on the home unit. We also, on the home unit, we have 2 managers in this case, one which is level 5 and one that is level 4. And in this case, the level 5 manager will receive the notification because he or she is closest above the employee. And the next one. Employees still on the home unit. On the home unit, we have two managers, both with level 4, and both of them, because they have the same level, both of them will receive the notification. Then we have an example for section and so in this case, the employee has a direct role on this section. On the section, we also have a manager, which is level 5. We also have on the home unit, level 4 manager, and on the district, a level 3 manager. So in this case, the notification will go to the closest manager, which is the one on the section with level 5. And in this case, we have an employee on the home unit. The same employee also has a manager role, level 3, on the district. And the employee on the home unit has a manager level 4. And we also have a manager on the customer level, level 2. So in this case, the leave application will go to the manager on level 2 on the customer, because we're looking at the employee's highest role. So it's this one and looking above. So those were the basic scenarios. Let's go into the shared ones as well. So in this case, we have the same employee, and he or she has a direct role on section 1 and section 2. And we also have a manager role on each of the sections. So in this case, the managers will receive, both of the managers will receive a notification. We have the same scenario here, with the difference that the employee is also shared to the third section. But on the third section, there is no manager. So in this case, we will send it to only the managers defined on the section level. So since there is no manager here, there is no manager that can receive the notification. In this example, the same employee has a direct role on different sections, but they're not on the same unit. So one on the home unit and one in another unit. The sections both have manager level 5. So in this case, since we are looking at the home unit tree, if you remember, like the home unit, district, customer, and section that belongs to the home unit, we send it only to the manager defined on the section, the home unit section. And then the last one, probably the most common scenario. So the employee has a employee role on the home unit, but also on another away unit. So both the home unit and the away unit has a level 4 manager. So for the same reason as the previous scenario, only the manager defined on the home unit will receive the notification, as we're looking at the managers in the home unit tree. Okay, then we have the advanced scenarios. So in this case, I wanted to illustrate what happens when a manager doesn't have right access on permissions. So in this case, we have the employee who has a direct role on the section. On the section, we also have a level 5 manager who doesn't have right permissions on absences. And we have a level 4 manager on the unit. So in this case, we will look for the first manager above the employee who has write access, which is then the manager on the unit. This one is a bit of a corner case, but so we have the employee, which has a direct role on the section, but the same employee also have a direct role on the home unit. So in this case, we would look for the manager on the section and not the one on the unit. And then in this scenario, we have the employee on the home unit. The same employee also have a manager role on an away unit, a level 4 manager. And there's also a level 4 on the home unit. So in this case, the notification will go to the home unit manager. We are not considering this role as it's not part of the home unit tree. And then one to go. So this one, so we have an employee role, direct role on the home unit. The same employee also has a direct role on customer level, an employee role. In this case, and there is a manager role on the home unit. Since these are both employee roles, we will send the notification to the home unit, the manager defined on the home unit, and not the manager with level 2 on customer level. I think that was all the scenarios we had. I hope it makes sense and that it's clear. If you want something to, if you have any questions, please add to the Q&A, the Zoom feature, and then we can try to answer the questions after Johannes has gone through shift bookings. Do you want to take over, Johannes?
Yes, thank you, Malin. Let's see if I can share my screen here. So, can you see my shift booking notification screen now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Malin. So I can start with mentioning that the manager tab in the mobile apps, in there you will see all leave applications and shift booking requests that you have received notifications for. So in the mobile apps manager tab, you will see all the shift booking requests and leave applications that you have received a notification for. And when it comes to shift bookings, we follow the same automated logic as leave applications, where the notification is sent to a manager one level above your highest role. And we look at the schedule permission instead of leave permission for shift bookings. One difference between shift bookings and leave applications is that the notification for shift booking requests always goes to the managers on the unit or section that the shift belongs to. So every time the notification will go to the managers on the unit or section that the shift belongs to. Another important thing to mention is that the shift booking notifications don't follow the reports to setting in the employee card. Shift booking notifications will always go to the managers in the unit section that the shift belongs to, one step above the employee's highest role. We don't use reports to for shift booking notifications because a lot of reports to managers are managers in the employee's home unit and does not have access rights to approve shift bookings in other units that the employee might be shared to and apply for shifts in. And let's that was a bit fast. Let's look at some examples here as well. So we can begin with the first one, which is a scenario where an employee has a direct role on a unit and applies for a shift on that unit. The manager closest above the employee is a manager level 4, which will receive this shift booking notification. In the second scenario here, a person both has an employee role on the unit and the manager level 4 role. So in this case, we will look for the manager one step above the employee's highest role, which in this case is a manager level 3 on the district level. And in scenario 3, this person has a role on the section level and applies for a shift that belongs to the section. We have a manager level 5 on the section and a manager level 4 on the unit. And in this case, the notification will go to the manager level 5 on the section, since that is the manager that belongs to the section and is closest above the employee's highest role. And now I can show you an interesting scenario which shows the main difference between leave applications and shift booking notifications. In this example, the employee has a role in his home unit and a section that belongs to the home unit, but he's also shared and has a role in a unit in a completely different district. And the employee applies for a shift in this unit that he is shared to. And in this case, the shift booking notification will go to the manager level 4, which is one step above the employee's highest level on the unit that the employee applies for a shift in. And I hope those examples clarifies the shift booking notification logic and the difference between shift bookings and leave application notifications for you guys. And basically that was what I wanted to share with you today. So I think we can jump into the questions now.
Yep. I think we can go on with the questions. So we've received 6 questions so far. You can still type your questions and add them to the list as we're going through these questions. So if you have something that you want to answer, just go ahead and ask in the Q&A feature in Zoom. The first question from Jesper: what is shared employed used for in NEO? Is the logic not just always taking the roles? So I guess we are talking about the shared setting on employees. And the answer is, well, yes, roles is you share employees between units with the help of roles, yes. And the shared option doesn't affect anything in NEO, except actually when you move employees, it's still taken into consideration there, but only there. So it affects how employees are moved and what happens when you move them. But that's a minor detail which will probably be changed in the future. But no, that you're right. It's the roles that determine how employees are shared. From Marie, last basic scenario, the manager for the section needs to have a notification too. The manager for the section. So I guess you're talking about the manager for the section that the employee belongs to. In that case, if they are one role above the employee, they should receive the notification. However, if you rather mean that the section manager is above,
should I reshare the last basic scenario maybe?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it. So it's this one basically. So the employee has two roles, one employee role on the home unit and one manager role on the district. So I think what Marie said was that this manager needs to receive a notification, right?
Yeah, okay, maybe that's what she meant, yes.
And in this case, the logic is that we are looking at the highest role that the employee has, which is in this case, the manager role.
Yeah, so the manager role on the district level there, therefore the notification will go to the level 2 manager on customer level. And in that case, the situation here is that you want the manager on the unit level to also receive the notification. I suppose you could give that manager a role on customer level with no permissions. However, I'm not going to go into that now. I'll come back to that question with an explanation of how to manage this scenario, because I think we're going to have similar questions below. So I'll come back to that one. Next one from Jesper. How do we know which scenario is used? These aren't different scenarios that you can select between. The scenario, the logic works in a way that it always looks upwards in the hierarchy. So these are just different scenarios that we're explaining to illustrate how the logic works. So it's not that the application will choose different logics in different scenarios. The logic is always the same. The scenarios are just to illustrate how the logic works. I hope that clears things up. From Marie, we have a unit with managers on different levels who share the responsibility to fix when someone puts in sick leave. How do I do when I need what do I do when I need every manager in one unit to get the notification? And I think I'll take the opportunity now to explain how to solve this scenario. So let's say you want all notifications to skip a specific role. Let's say that you have an employee on level 4, you have assistant managers on level 3, and then you have managers on level 2. And you don't want the assistant managers to receive the notifications. You want the managers to receive them. In that case, what you will do is you can create a new role called leave application notifications to managers. And you will put that role, when you create that role, you'll put it on level 3 so that and then you will give the managers that role. So you kind of intercept the notifications. And then with this role, when you create it, you don't give them any permissions except write permission on absence. And that way, all of these leave applications that would go to the assistant manager on level 3 would then go to this new role that you put there. I realized that was a complex, very, very complex description, but I will instead refer you to the Help Docs article, which has an explanation of how this works. Next question. All scenarios you just showed will be overwritten if there is a manager who reports to field. Yes, for leave applications, but not for shift bookings. The reason why reports to does not overrule shift booking requests is because the employee could be booking a shift on an away unit. And we don't want the shift booking to go to a manager who doesn't have rights, the permissions to approve the shift booking. So shift booking requests will always go to the manager on the unit they are booking a shift on. But leave applications, yes, they will always go to reports 2 if that is set. From Anonymous, so if we have the roles employee, assistant store manager, and store manager, if an employee applies for a shift or vacation day, the notification will go to the assistant store manager and not store manager, as is will take the one on the level 1 step above. Is this correct? Yes, this is correct. If you don't want it to work like this, you can use the solution that I described before in a very convoluted way. So just check the help docs article and that will explain how to ensure that those bookings still go to the store manager.
It can also be, Carl, I just thought of it. It could also be an option if the assisting manager maybe he or she doesn't need to have write access on absences. So maybe it's enough just to have read. And in that case, the logic will skip the assisting manager.
That is such a smart solution. Yeah, you're not a product manager for nothing. So we should probably add that to the article then, but that's the simplest solution. Yeah, so in the case where you just wanted to skip a level, that would absolutely be the easiest. Next one from Louise. Hi, our employees are level 5. However, the managers that we would require to receive the notifications are level 1.5. We would not require managers level 4 to receive these. How do we do this? So that was exactly what we just explained. Check the article and we'll also update it with the latest solution that Marlene just came up with. Next one from Jamie. If someone applies for leave, the manager above gets the notification. Will other managers, maybe lower, still be able to see the application and act on it? Marlin and Johannes, I think maybe you can answer this question on for each of your parts of the application.
Yeah, so for the web application, this logic doesn't have anything to do with what a manager can see in the schedule view. It only determines who receives the notifications. So if you don't want a particular person to be able to approve or deny a leave application, then you use the permissions for that.
And when it comes to the mobile app, it will follow the notification logic. So if you receive a notification, which is the manager closest one level above the employee, that person will see the leave app or shift booking request in the manager tab in the mobile app. And if you want to see more, you can go to the web app.
Okay, cool. Okay, from Marie, no, I need everybody to have a notification. Well, I'll try to explain it again. Let's say all your employees are on level 4. Create a new role on level 3. Make sure that that role has the right permission on leave applications. You can turn off all other permissions. Now, make sure that all managers that you want to receive a notification have that role on the unit. So it doesn't matter what other roles they have, just make sure that all managers that you want to receive the notification has that new role that you created just above the employee. And all of those managers will receive the notification. And you can add anyone with that role. I hope that's clearer. please define notifications. Is this dashboard alerts as well as QMails? No, this is we are talking about QMails here. When it comes to the web application, we are talking about QMails. The QMails in turn generate push notifications in the mobile app. When it comes to the mobile app, this also determines the what is visible under the, what's it called, the manager and then leave applications area. So I hope that's clearer. We're talking about notifications as in QMails and also in the mobile app, where the leave applications you see under the manager section. From Christian, a little off topic, but related to absence notifications. I'll come back to that one because it is slightly off topic. So we'll take that one last if we have time. Next one, how to set up home unit where there is 2 leaders in the same unit and part of employees are reporting to leader 1 and part to leader 2. We don't want leader 1 to see notifications of leader 2 and vice versa. This is why we have sections, I would say. So you should probably have those 2 in different sections. Otherwise, use the reports too. So if you have a bunch of employees in one section reporting to one manager and a bunch of employees on the same section reporting to another manager, use the reports to functionality. If we speak about notifications, it means the manager will receive QMail, but everybody will still see the leave request in the schedule, right? Yes, so that's what we mentioned before. This is about notifications and what you see in the schedule. Let's see, from Eliana, can I also switch off the full logic that nobody gets a notification? All managers would always see the requests in the schedule. So they will always see the requests in the schedule, as we just mentioned. This is only about the notifications. Now, if you want to turn off the notifications completely so that no one receives the notifications, you can still do so in the unit settings. That is described in the help docs article.
And if you only, the people can separately turn off to not receive push notifications in the app if that is the problem. So you can choose if you, as a manager, want to receive any push notifications for generated QMails in the settings tab in the mobile app.
Yes. Last on-topic question. Will the dashboard notification remain as it is now? So I think we're talking about the feed or the upcoming events in the left side panel. Yes, that will remain unchanged because that's not a notification, but rather a summary of what's happening in the schedule. Okay, let's take this last one. A little bit off topic, but related to absence notifications. There is a difference of times in absence requests. When you choose the option all day in the web app, it will follow the change of day rules of our company. So we're talking about daybreak, I guess, in this case, 6 a.m. In the iOS app, midnight is always the time to switch days. In businesses working during night hours, this often leads to some issues of inconsistency when we look at weekly schedules because more days are shown as absent on the first view than actually are. Other plans to fix or align this? First of all, this is something that we thought about a lot, of course, obviously, and had many, many discussions about how it should work. But I think that, and I think the most important thing here to note is that we have decided that when it comes to the daybreak settings, that the ones that we have today should not affect the mobile app. And that is because if you have a shift that, if you have a daybreak of 6 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, your shift starts at 5 o'clock. and it shows in the mobile app as starting on the day before, then your employees will almost certainly show up on the wrong day, because they are used to, in their app or in their phone, they're used to the daybreak being the calendar daybreak. It's the same as if you're going to catch a flight at 3 a.m. in the morning. If the daybreak was set to 6, then that person will probably show up on the wrong day. So I understand that it creates inconsistency in some ways, but we are very confident that if we were to apply the daybreak also in the mobile app in different places in different ways, then it's going to end up with employees showing up for shifts on the wrong days. So we have made a conscious decision to not do that. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Malin or Johannes?
No, we have a help docs article describing all of this. I can't remember the name though right now, but if you search
daybreak.
Yeah, so if you
So
search
just
for daybreak in the manual, I think you will find it.
Yep.
Yes, and there is a workaround, and that is to turn off all day and choose the specific from and to time if you need to.
Okay, and then I see some people have written one question in the chat: how to set up home. Oh, okay, that's the question that we've already answered. In that case, it seems like we've gone through all the questions and answered them, unless someone has something. If someone has a question that they're writing now frantically on the keyboard before we end the session, let us know in the chat right now, and then we'll wait a bit and until you've finished typing your question in the Q&A. Otherwise, I think we will round off the session. Okay.
Seems no one is writing.
Nope. Great. So in that case, thank you so much. And also read the Help Docs article. Maybe you'll, if there was something you missed today, the Help Docs article will help you. Thank you.
Great. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.